To me, this center is a little jewel that we donated to Buffalo. I realized as we developed over the years that there was in the regional area, there was not a center for not just learning Italian, but knowing the Italian culture, its history, its contributions to the world basically, in literature, in art, in architecture, and I felt that we were on track, and we are. Italians open their arms to people, and so we welcome anybody, and the place that we have has a center, has a location, an auditorium for the community outside, a location where people who have come here, if they are new immigrants, can tell us about their experience and their choice to come to Buffalo, but particularly the second and third generations who have heard from their grandparents or great-grandparents about their coming to the area, to Buffalo. But also we don't just focus on Italians. It's just open to anybody who likes the music or like the art or like the culture, etc., or the food for that matter. And by the way, we have a fabulous, fabulous kitchen. We at the Cultural Center love people. We love you, and be a part of it. That's the message that I have. I thank God for giving me this opportunity to share this mission to serve Him to my best. Life is beautiful. It's a God gift. Make life meaningful. Learn. Work for excellence. Love people. And love your work, because that's a God's gift also. The name is Frank Giacobbe, Dr. Frank Giacobbe. The name spells in Italian is Francesco. I am the president of the Italian Cultural Center. 2011, around Christmas time, I went to visit one of my boys, and when I departed, when I was about to depart from the house, I said to my grandchild, "Che Dio ti benedica," which the translation will be, "May God bless you." As it was around Christmas time, he looks at me and says, "Merry Christmas." I said, "Oh my Lord, this is totally wrong." I told my wife, "We better do something about it." And so we promoted and founded the Italian Cultural Center to promote language and culture naturally. My wife was with me when I mentioned this. And as she was a Neapolitan and we taught our children Italian, similarly, she was very much surprised that the grandchildren would not understand, not speak, would not understand Italian. So we both got very alarmed and gathered a group of friends, and we initiated this concept. We have had 4 children, 3 boys and a girl. Our girl was our last one. She should have been the first, probably.
And what's your wife's name?
Renata. Means reborn. And to me it was rejuvenation and reborn. I am from Sicily. I was born in Sicily, near the Messina, the northeastern part of Sicily, of the island. My father was in the States through the war, so I grew up as a child and a teenager in Sicily, not knowing my father until I was 18 years of age, when we finally got to the States. Came by boat. At that time, they had done without Ellis Island. But I remember distinctly at the port, my father, gray-haired person, this is Dad. I mean, to me was a total stranger. I grew up with my mom, who was very loving and very rigid, very disciplinarian, Was a look, no need for hitting. My family was established in Syracuse. I went to Syracuse University in pre-med, and when I went to medical school in Naples, and I graduated in 1960 with honors, the headmaster of the site where I was a guest says, you ought to go to Buffalo and meet our brothers who are in Buffalo as educators, because they were educators like the Jesuits. So I came here in Buffalo after I graduated, and I went to ECMC, back then called the E.J. Meyer Memorial Hospital, and I loved the hospital as a teaching institution, and it all started from there. I wanted to be a surgeon, but I met with a fantastic mentor who was a pediatrician, Dr. Bumbalo, and I turned to pediatrics, which I loved, and I still love, and I miss it now that I'm retired. Well, there are several traditions. Number one, the main tradition there is in January, on the 6th of January, and we exchange gifts then, not on Christmas time, when the Magi brought Christ the gifts. Then the other tradition, of course, is the St. Joseph's table. St. Joseph, I remember my mom preparing a table for the paupers, for people who were needy. Another tradition is in St. Lucie on the 13th of December. They make special bread out of corn flour. Those are the three main traditions that I can think of. But we kind of got stuck with the St. Joseph table, and that's what our family pretty much promotes. Italian was the principal and initial language. My children did not know English until they went to kindergarten. Indeed, one thing that kind of struck me going and walking to my high school was sale sign, which in Italian meant sale, 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 but in Italian meant salt. I said, my God, there is a lot of salt here. And I got to be very, very good, very articulate, to the point that I was saying also jokes. Two horses are coming to the end line, one horse sticks the tongue out and beats him. Almost at the end of 2011, we gathered a group of friends, Dr. Andreana, Dr. Guiati, Peter Loiacono, Donato Curcio, Cimato, Fred Cimato, and a few others, and we promoted Italian Cultural Center. The intention was to teach children and adults indiscriminately of anybody with interest to learn Italian. So we had started with beginner, intermediate, conversational Italian, and children from 5 to 10, they are without charge to promote languages in children, because many immigrants tell us or tell me that, my father or my grandfather or uncle never taught us Italian. They spoke among them. So we wanted to break that tradition or that kind of information. And there's a reason for that. Basically, the immigrants wanted to make sure that their children would learn English. So Italian was not taught to them. The trilogy in my family, and probably in most immigrants, is God, family, work. That's the trilogy. So after God comes my family. The love to the family, the respect, the obligations, the service for the community, etc. To me, it all comes out from family. The center of the house revolved around the kitchen, and so the family would reunite on or about the table to discuss the problems that they had during the day, good or bad, etc. So we never allowed in our family that we would not eat together. We would eat when I would come home, whether it was 5 o'clock or 7 o'clock in the evening, it didn't matter. But the family got together around that time. Together. That's what family means to me. It's the strength, the main nucleus of the family, basically. We have roughly about 250 quote active. We plan to promote our membership to probably 300 or more. And as we get started, we're going to succeed. About 4 years ago, I saw an article on the paper by Mike Giallombardo that he had heard that the library on Delaware and Hurdle was going to be taken up by Benderson to set up a small plaza. And the people over North Buffalo protested. And I remember going to the Common Council and notify them that we were very much interested in setting up, the Cultural Center was very much interested in using that site. And 2 years ago, we received a notice from the mayor through Ferroletto and former Mayor Tony Masiello that they were going to donate that site to us. This was a great gift, and we truly, out of appreciation to Buffalo, as I feel Buffalonian, out of appreciation for what Buffalo has done for us, we want to have a beautiful place. The idea is going to cost us almost $2 million, and we are pretty soon going to launch a project to raise that money. And I must say that Rocco Termini has been very much involved and helpful, so Tony Masiello, so Joel Ferroletto, and many, many others. We have a fabulous, fantastic board of directors. We plan to have a little Italy in Buffalo. We're going to have an Italian coffee shop where you could have your coffee, your espresso. We're going to have a site of people that could dictate their history as they know as immigrants, or that of their grandfathers or fathers who came here. Besides that, we're going to have a boutique shop. We're going to have also a cuisine, a kitchen, modern kitchen. And Rasso Salvatore is very much involved into that. And we're going to have an ample room for conferences, for meetings, for art exhibits, or music, or whatever. It's going to be fabulous. The intention is to have that room also served for North Buffalo people so that they could come and use it. It's going to be just great. It's going to be just nice. It's a gift from the Italian Buffalo community to Buffalo. You don't have to go to Italy to enjoy what we're going to have, because this is like a little Italy. You want to buy a gift for your girlfriend, there is a boutique shop. You want to have an espresso and a cappuccino, you can come there. You want to watch Italian program, soccer ball or whatever, that's going to be there. We plan to have also children or teenagers playing some instruments in our big room. So you as a potential father will see that the future is with us, because our focus remains family and children and traditions. Buffalo has welcomed the Italian Americans. We are very grateful for this gift. You cannot buy love and friendship with money, but this is what we want to return to Buffalo for what they have done to us.
So what do you hope this cultural center does in the future, in like next 5 years? What do you hope it brings to the city of Buffalo?
I cannot predict the future, but I know that we are on track for an outstanding gift. We want to hear from potential new members, not just their donation, their involvement actively, but most of all, we want to hear from them what they like to see in Buffalo.
So when you walk into this cultural center, what do you want to experience? What do you want to see? What do you want to leave with?
You want to see, first of all, beauty, cleanliness, of course, and service.
In one word, the Italian Culture Center means
love and giving.
Hi.
Hey, there you are.
How are you? You look good.
So, Dr. Giacobbe, who is this? Who just walked in?
That's my daughter. I always say she should have been number one because she's one who unites the family. I must say that I was a citizen by birth, though I was not born in this country, because my father became a citizen in 1928. I was born in 33. So though I was an American citizen and I came with an American passport, I felt that I needed to do more for my country, for the United States. So I joined the Navy Reserve. And sure enough, for the Gulf War, I was called out of my practice to serve in the Navy Reserve as an officer. I was a captain of the Navy then, and I'm very proud of it. Well, like me, Renata did not know English. I remember that she was telling me that back in the old country in Italy, to learn English, she started teaching English to children in high school. But when she came to this country, she did not know much English, of course. So I sent her to the university. I said, you have to go to the university. And to learn English there, she took French, which she was versatile in, and Latin. She was a Latinist. She was very, very articulate in Latin. And so she took 2 courses, Latin and French, to learn English. That was impressive. She was a person that you were willing to really work hard. She was the incentive behind me. Kind of promoted you to do better and more, you know. She was a great mother. Initially not a good cook. I must say that the first, she said, what do you like to have for breakfast? I said, give me a scrambled egg. She scrambled with the butter, but butter turned brown. I said, I never saw brown scrambled eggs. She was offended, and from then on, she took it upon herself to become a good cook. I make you laugh. This is maybe funny, but it's a reality. Brown scrambled eggs, I never saw from the butter. Yeah, that's me when I was a teenager. Actually, I was 20. And as a young adult, you know, you wanted to smoke, which I thought was very bad. I said to myself, I don't want to be your slave. And I quit.
All right, and then I'm going to give you this one. And your wife. And I want you to do the same exact thing we just did.
Picture of myself and my dear wife, probably about 5 years before she died in 2013. She died of breast cancer. This is a photo that I took with one of the fathers in Amalfi, which is near Naples. And it was in 1957 before I graduated from medical school.
This one?
This is me, passionate and attentive, studying anatomy in 55. This is a picture of myself and my dear wife about a year after I married. No, the year that we married in 1961. Brings back lots of memories here. 1990, when I was an officer in the Navy during the Gulf War. Brings back lots of memories. I loved my service. And the last one is, again, a picture of myself and my dear wife at one of the festivities of Sisters of Charity Hospital, where I was a chief of pediatrics for several years, from 1976 to the year 2000. I'm fortunate that all my family members are here in Buffalo. This is one of my grandchildren. Is Mario, first boy, Mario Jr., and he's in my heart lovingly. I meet with him, trying to give them my best advices. A lot of times grandchildren listen more to grandparents than to their parents.
So who's this?
So this is Luca, my son's second boy. So he's more of a studious guy, and he's at Syracuse University, and he's doing very well. Of course, this is my daughter, the youngest of the family. She is the force behind everything. She's the one who unites the family, and this is Paola.
So,
Not Paula, Paola, Paola, Paola.
so Mario or Paula, can you please tell me a good story about your father?
One.
One good one.
I have
funny
one.
story. Once I nearly cracked his head because I wanted to break a coconut.
Yeah.
That wouldn't.
That's
That wouldn't break.
I got a good story.
Well, this is my oldest boy. You know, he's always late because he's busy. If we have a meeting at 6 o'clock, I tell him the meeting is at 5:30 because I know he's going to be half an hour late.
Is this true?
Well, that's pretty funny. Yes.
He's a busy guy.
Yeah.
He's a physician and he's busy.
Unfortunately, a habit of mine. Yeah. It was my father, myself, my sister, my younger brother Frank, and we were looking for barbecue food down in Florida. So my dad was adamant to try to find a nice barbecue place. So we ended up seeing on the street a place called the Lovely Pit, it was called. And so we decided to pull over and stop. You know, it looked like a decent barbecue place from the outside. Once we went inside, you can smell, smelled very, very good, you know, like really good barbecue. So at some point, as we entered, there were some people cooking by a grill in the back, and my father thought it would be a good idea to approach the cooks, in particular these two women that were behind the area where the cooking was taking place. And my father looked at them with this puzzled look on his face and said, "So may I see your lovely pit?" To which they then looked at him with this strange look on their face, wondering, you know, what exactly are you asking of us right now? So we all got a real big kick out of that.
It's a matter of interpretation, okay? I'm very naive and very, they misinterpreted me, okay?
We were fortunate to grow up in a very tight family, and one of the most important things, growing up at home was to eat together, have dinner together, and my first date with my wife, we went out on a date and we had a very nice time. And I told Laura, I said, honey, I've got to go home because I have to have dinner with my dad. And she thought, what's with this guy? He's trying to get rid of me, and he's trying to end the date early. But I needed to go home and have dinner with my dad because the rest of the family was in Italy, and I was still in Buffalo with my dad. So went home, had dinner with my dad, and of course, my wife just thought that was the sweetest thing in the world. Having dinner together as a family is one of the most important things that I learned growing up at home.
Thank you. I think I mentioned that before.
You did. You were very adamant about that too.
She's always talking about God overall, family, work, education. Those are really the big ones he's always trying to get into our heads.
Are you listening?
Always.
Okay. Maria, any other questions?
I make sure that I look into their eyes when I talk.
Well, I think that we've covered a lot, but I mean, always finding that time for family, no matter how busy you are, because my dad was very busy and he worked a lot of hours, and but we always ate together, and we would visit his mom, who lived in Syracuse, as often as we could. On a monthly basis, I would say we would make trips to Syracuse, and perseverance. I mean, he ran 3 marathons while always juggling work and many other hobbies and his family. And but if you persevere, you can pretty much do anything you want. So
I was told that when I enrolled in Montessori pre-K at school, that I couldn't speak a word of English. That Italian was my first language, and I was conversing with a girl who was Hungarian, and she couldn't speak any English either. But somehow, we managed to communicate. But in our home, it was of utmost importance for both my mother and father to teach us all to read, write, and speak Italian. And that is one of the primary missions of CCI, which is to promote not only Italian culture, but the Italian language as well. And we've been doing that for a number of years now, offering classes to adults and children. But yes, we're all fortunate to be born in this country, and we were raised as not only Americans but also Italians and deep into Italian culture.
So just all look at him and all that. There we go. That's awesome. That's great. And then Dr. Giacobbe, can you say family in Italian for us?
La famiglia. La famiglia dopo Padre Eterno, la cosa più bella. It's the best thing in life. The first king of Italy, Victor Emmanuel II, he united Italy.
word from the man who helped make this entire thing happen. It was his idea, Dr. Giacobbe.
Thank you all for coming. E che Dio vi benedica.